Question number 6, David Shearer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade. When did he first become aware of allegations that led to a Malaysian diplomat being charged with assault with the intent to commit rape and burglary, and what actions did he take?
Honourable Murray McCully.
Speaker, on Saturday the 10th of May, I was advised that on the 9th of May, a Malaysian diplomat had been arrested in relation to alleged serious offences, and that the Ministry had formally requested that diplomatic immunity be waived in order for charges to be proceeded with. This advice was provided to me because of the prospect of media inquiries. No steps were called for from me. The prosecution was a matter for the police, and the immunity issues were dealt with by the Protocol Division of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Is the Malaysian Foreign Minister correct in asserting that Malaysia was willing to waive diplomatic immunity to allow the diplomat to face trial in New Zealand and enable a young New Zealand woman to receive justice? And if so, why didn't he take him up on that offer?
Honourable Murray McCully.
Speaker, I've both seen the reported remarks of the Malaysian Foreign Minister and spoken to him last night, and it is his position that his government would be prepared to consider providing immunity. I've indicated to him that is a matter for the New Zealand a waiver, and that is a matter for the New Zealand Police to consider. I want to make it also very clear that, having been provided advice on the 10th of May, I was not aware that the immunity that was sought had not been waived until Friday of last week.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Does he feel that his contradiction of the Malaysian Foreign Minister's account offering to waive immunity in front of the world's media, and then him blaming his officials for his lapse, has damaged New Zealand's excellent relationship with Malaysia?
Honourable Murray McCully.
No, I can report that New Zealand's relationship with Malaysia remains robust and strong. Yesterday, until I saw Minister Anifar's remarks yesterday, I had no reason to believe that the information provided by officials to both myself and the Prime Minister was incorrect. It was only when I saw Minister Anifar's comments that I decided to undertake further inquiry to see how he had been under the impression that the outcome that occurred here was acceptable to the New Zealand Government.
Speaker.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Given that the diplomat charged had been home in Malaysia for over 6 weeks when the story broke, isn't it true that if this issue had not been raised by the media, he would have quietly swept it under the carpet and never mentioned it?
Order, Honourable Murray McCully.
Mr. Speaker, if the member is suggesting that it would have been very desirable indeed for the Ministry to have told me that the immunity, the waiver of immunity sought had not been granted, then I very strongly agree with them. I did not know until last Friday. I should have been informed.
Speaker.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Given, according to the Prime Minister today, that he did not advise the Prime Minister earlier than last Saturday formally about the alleged assault by the Malaysian diplomat, doesn't he think that he has failed in his duties as a Foreign Minister and to the young woman concerned?
Honourable Murray McCully.
Speaker, I've made clear to the media today that I think there are two respects in which this matter was unsatisfactory. Firstly, what should have been a clear and unambiguous communication of New Zealand's desire to see the immunity waived seems to have been clouded by some informal communications, which I saw for the first time last night, and I've asked the Chief Executive to look into those matters in an appropriate way. With regard to the advice to the Prime Minister and to myself, it was incomplete, and the advice that we'd given to the news media and the New Zealand public was incomplete for that reason, and I've taken that matter up separately as well.
Question number 7, Mark Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Corrections. What recent announcements has she made on how technology can be used to better protect victims of domestic violence?
Honourable